So I think that so far, the way things have been going, it's been building really well, the energy of every single speaker that I've seen. And, I've tried to sit here as long as I can each day to catch all of it, except for like, earlier, Omar I saw in the chat had to get up and go stretch his legs. I had to do the same thing, but wow, the content and the things that you guys out there that are sitting out in the audience all around the world, you're getting the largest free 5-day running webinar seminar from the craziest people that you would have to pay tons and tons of money to see normally. And you guys are getting a sample of what they are about, what they do. Portal to Ascension, putting this stuff on. Neil and Saul, I love those guys to death. Met them a few years ago, been trying to help them any way that I can, whenever I can. Promote them, do anything like this that I can do for them. This is just a fabulous thing that we got going on here. And I love the content, because the range of what people are talking about and how it is all encompassed. And there's Caroline, speaking of the range of what everybody talks about and how it's all encompassed. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you?
Welcome. Yes. So yeah, man, I don't know if you got to hear any of this craziness that's going on, but these guys are fabulous. And you, on top of all that, is just going to be like a cherry on top of a big ice cream for the day.
Woo!
In my opinion, purely, but I'm a fan. I talked to you.
Awesome.
I interviewed you once back in 2017.
Right.
Do you remember that? I don't know if you remember me, but you were getting ready to let the documentary go. Which one was it? There Among Us? That was the one.
Yeah, at the time. Yeah.
Yep.
Now I have a new one out. It's called.
I see.
Yeah. Did you see it?
All that. I haven't seen it yet. But I was looking at your bio and looking at all the stuff that you've done. Even since then, I mean, you were already writing and producing and directing, but now you're like on television as well. You've been on the History Channel. You've been on all kinds of different things. What was that? Ancient Aliens. You've been on the other show with William Shatner. All kinds of stuff. And you're just amazing person because of the knowledge that you have. Being a filmmaker, being a producer, and now you're even acting, right? Writing your own stuff. That's insane. It's crazy, but it's cool because it shows, for those you women out there who don't know who she is, look her up, okay? Because she should be wearing a shirt that says "Girl Power" right now, okay? Because what she has done with her life, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to let her go, and you guys are going to hear what she has done with her life. Proves that I don't care who you are. If you put your mind to doing something, you can do anything you want to do, right? And then look what this woman has done. So, okay, so you have a new one out. Let's talk about that. Tell the people what that's about. So if no one's heard they don't know who you are, because there's going to be a few, because we're broadcasting around the world. There's going to be some people who are just brand new. They're going to go, who's this woman? Tell them a little bit about some of the stuff that you've done so you can blow their freaking minds.
Well, thank you for this amazing introduction. So I am actually, right now I'm a filmmaker, but I wear many hats, as you know. I've been doing all kinds of work in the field of consciousness, because since I was 5 years old, I would have experiences. I was able to see beings and hear them and telepathically communicate with them. And I would look at someone, I would see their subtle energy, what was going on with them, what was going to happen the next day. I could see what was on the other side of the wall. I could hear people's thoughts. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff since I was very, very young. And so that kind of opened me to the idea that we are tapped into other worlds and other universes. But for me, the question is how? I wanted to not just share my experiences, but tell people how I was doing it so that they can also do it. So, because this is really innate in all of us. And
you are one of the few people that actually say that, because I say that to people. Everyone, you guys can all do this. And you just said that. And out of everyone that I've interviewed and talked to, I think you, other than the people that we work behind the scenes with, we all know that, but we don't hear people say that enough to the public, like what you just did. Continue, please.
Yeah, because I mean, I was sure. In fact, when I started having these experiences when I was very young, I didn't want to talk about it because I thought everybody had them. So I didn't want to like be embarrassed and say, oh, I can see on the other side of the wall. And then, my friend would say, everybody can do that. Like
Right.
I really, really felt that this was supposed to be this way. It was much later, of course, when I grew up that I realized, okay, well, not everybody's, doing this and why. So that's the reason why I got into the field of consciousness and the mechanics of consciousness. How does it work? How does it operate? And because I see the subtle energy very clearly, I could see the structure of space and how the mind channels interact with other beings, with the universe, this type of detail, if you will.
Right.
And so, I've written books and I developed methodology for energy medicine, for consciousness expansion for like 15 years. I've been teaching and facilitating. And then at one point, I started working with scientists because I knew I was getting validation, like, remote viewing, then it gets validated. I work on someone and it gets validated. So I knew this was real. And I started working with scientists and we would do experiments. For example, long distance, I would tap into their laboratory equipment and then I would intend for something to happen and it would happen and it would be repeated. Of course, this is under scientific conditions. So
Right,
we would
so you have to
create
do it.
baselines and,
Yeah.
it's not like just fluke. And so then we worked with water, we worked with DNA, affecting the pH of water, all kinds of telekinesis. I started doing telekinesis in person and remotely and seeing, taking measurements and things like that. And so because it was under laboratory conditions and because it was verified and measured and repeatable, more importantly, that I realized, wait a minute, this is such important material that validates what everybody's been talking about, that the mind, our consciousness, is creating our reality. It has an actual measurable effect on the body. This is not crazy woo-woo stuff.
Yeah, it's not.
And so that's how my last film came about, the one that just came out. It's called Superhuman, the Invisible Made Visible.
Yeah, I will be watching that soon. I wasn't aware of that. Oh, she has a new one. I gotta have to see that. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. You have to, because this is at a whole new level. I mean, so people can go to superhumanfilm.com and they'll watch it. It's on Amazon and everywhere. But the idea is we didn't just talk about, it's like people tell you the mind does this, the mind, the consciousness. Yeah, but this film literally demonstrate on camera in real time, scientific experiments, how we set up the experiment to have the intent affect the water, have the intent affect, telekinesis, in a Faraday cage, so it's very real. It's very powerful and validates, all the people who are into even UFOs. And don't forget, when you have a UFO experience or you have contact with a being, I mean, what are you doing? It's your consciousness tapping into that intelligence. And so when you understand the mechanics of it all and you now have validation, like proof, really evidence that this is how it's working, this is how your mind is working, it's very, very empowering. And so I'm very, very hopeful for this film because not only it validates, but it supports a lot of people's work, people
agreed.
who, yeah. And so
for the first time, it's not behind closed doors hidden by the military or the industrial complex, where they've been doing this a lot, but they never show it to anyone because they always want to try and weaponize it in some way. And now finally, someone like you have done this to where you're actually showing people the stuff they've been keeping secret from us all forever, right?
Absolutely. And we talk about that a little bit in the film, but not too much because I didn't want to distract, from the point.
You don't want to get them mad at you.
Yeah.
Because they'll go, no, don't put that out, right?
Yeah. So and so of course, most people know about the remote viewing program, the Stargate program, and, it's being taught now openly, but they don't realize that the government was also and is, by the way, I know for sure in China, for sure in other countries, for sure, they are still investigating telekinesis, levitation, teleport, all kinds of things
Yep.
like that, people who have those abilities. So this means that this is very real. You know, they're not going to waste their time on stuff that
They
is
think it's
just,
hocus
yeah.
pocus, right? Yeah, if they think it's not going to. I've read a lot of research where they were doing that, especially over there. You mentioned over in China, and I've read some research where the Chinese government actually, I got that from an insider in the CIA, but it was the government was filming and watching these Tibetan monks as they were levitating with music, these 4 or 5 ton blocks, and pushing them up 150 feet in the air as they floated up to the guys who put them in place. And they were, really doing that. But that information never made it out to anyone except for the CIA got a hold of it somehow, and that ended up being filtered down to guys like me. So that's crazy because you're right. They're not going to go and investigate something that they don't think is real in any way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing that's great, I mean, this film really takes it to a whole new level. So not only that we demonstrate a remote viewing, telekinesis, water, pH, and things like that, but also you may have seen this a little bit on YouTube or, floating around. There are people who can see, they can put a blindfold on and are able to see. Now, I know that, I mean, I can't speak for the people that I didn't investigate, but I started investigating this methodology, and there are different groups around the world. This is very legitimate. This is very real. In fact, I did it, and I teach it. And so, this is very real. So scientifically, the way we were able to demonstrate that this is real, it's not fake, people aren't cheating,
Right.
is we introduced a device that measures the amount of light that is inside the mask, and there was no light whatsoever.
Right.
In another experiment, we were also, so if there's no light, you're not supposed to see.
Yeah, you
So
can't pick anything up. Yeah, there's nothing there.
exactly.
Yeah.
So then that was validation, but also other folks are measuring the brain waves as you are reading and seeing completely blindfolded, and the brain waves behave as if there's light coming in, as if you were reading. So, so that's how we were able to support and to demonstrate that this is not fake, this is real. Plus, like I said, I know hundreds of people now around the world who do that. And we just taught classes online. In fact, this morning, the kids we teach online, after the second session, they can read, they could do puzzles. I mean, it's insane. And my adult class, after the third session, I think maybe even less, I can't remember, but people were seeing shadow, they're seeing color, they're starting to see, that to me, again, is another whole level that tells us that our consciousness is tapping into the intelligence of the universe beyond this physical form.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen studies where people who were blind in one eye or in both were still able to reach over and grab a doorknob and open the doorknob, and they would change the doorknob shape on them to see if they would to grab it. Because, the one that sticks out, you grab a different way. And the one that's a round one, you grab a different way, right? And so they actually did that to see if the person would, just grab for a doorknob and then adjust their hand as they touch the doorknob. But they didn't. Even though they couldn't see, there was no reason for them to be able to know that this doorknob was not round. It's one of those elongated. They still grabbed in their hand, grabbed it the right way, and turned it the right way to open the doorknob. So that's, it ties right into what you're saying. And I love that the kids, it shows that the children are less distracted and pre-programmed than we are. We get more distracted and pre-programmed, and it takes a little bit longer for us to accept the reality that, hey, we can do this. And the kids are just all ready for it. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So when you teach kids, you tell them, okay, so they're blindfolded. Of course, the parents verify, the teachers verify. It's, it's all real. And then you tell them, what color paper do I have in my hand? They'll just tell you. they'll just say it. But the adults, there's like, well, wait, I'm blindfolded, and how am I
Yes, I'm
supposed
saying
to
there's too
do
much going
this?
on. They're too
Yeah,
distracted.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the method to teach adults is very, very different.
Yeah.
It's much more mythological, like dealing with the mind chatter, the belief systems, and getting yourself to that place of, kind of
You have to
childlike play.
learn everything that you've learned, because the
Exactly.
reality isn't what you think it is, right? But the kids don't know yet. They're just a sponge still. They want to know what reality is. And so if you don't tell them, that's why it works so well. That's great. I love that.
Exactly. And so to me, I feel like this movie is really, there's nothing like it out there. I mean, there's people talking about these concepts, but putting it all in one package where you see it with your own eyes, you witness, and also the way we were able to bring, the scientific experiment, how it's set up scientifically, and the caliber of experts and scientists in my movie. I mean, we're talking Harvard, UCLA, Stanford. I mean, this is the real deal. And so I feel I'm very, very hopeful because people will be encouraged. So whatever they're doing, whether they're into communicating with UFOs or even their guidance system or anything like that, this is the ultimate empowering tool, I feel. So I'm very, very excited about it. I think everybody should check it out. It's superhuman.
Definitely. But one of the people in the crowd, in the audience, just typed in there the seeress, the seeress, right? The seeress.
Yeah.
Typed in the audience. So all of this aside, my friend just levitated off the ground right now as we were listening to this. He was just there, and he just looked at me like, "What can I do?" He says, and floated off the ground. She said, "Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but what a beautiful discussion, and it was just very special occurrence." So she had to share it. Wow.
Yeah. Well, why don't you get it on video and send it to us, because that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So we have a forum of all these people who are taking the classes, and normally you're supposed to teach all this in person, but because of the whole situation, we're having to do everything online. So this is very new, and and people are getting it. It's working. And so we're uploading all these videos on this forum, where the kids, actually some of the kids from the first session, they were able to see color, and others. So today's class, they can see the stuff behind their head. Wow. In all directions.
Nice.
And again, no question, you tell them. So you hold something behind their head, and then you say, what am I holding in my hand? And it's like an orange card. I mean, like they don't think like, wait, I'm not supposed to see behind my. They don't. It's so incredible.
So the seeress said, "Where would I send the video?" You said, "Send it to me if you could get it to film it." She said, "Where would I send it to?"
They can send it to my email. Is that okay? Can I put it in there?
Yeah, they could Dropbox it to you. Yeah.
Just go. Just put it to. I don't know if I can put it in there, but just send it to production@omniummedia.com. But also just go to the website. That's
even better, right?
Yeah, go to the website superhumanfilm.com, and you can see all the workshop. This name of the film. Can I type it in? Is that okay?
Please. Okay. Type in anything you want to type in there. You want to put in another website, and yes, please feel free.
Yeah, so
everybody in the world can see that, and they can all go to that website.
Yeah, so this is the website superhumanfilm.com, and the movie is called Superhuman: The Invisible Made Visible.
And that's your new one. When did that one come out? How long ago?
Oh, just like 3 months ago.
That's what I thought. Okay. That's why I hadn't heard of it yet. It's only been a couple of months.
You need to see it.
Yes, I do need to see it.
Oh my God, you're going to be blown away. There's nothing like it out there. Nothing.
No, there was nothing like the first two that you did. You got how many awards? How many awards have you won? You've been nominated quite a few times, right?
Yeah, the last movie I won 9 awards. This movie I think 5 or 6. I can't even remember.
Well, it's only been 3 months. Give it time.
Yeah.
Right? Now, guys, if you don't know, she was the first person, or is, I can't say was because it was past tense, but she's still doing it. She was the first person on the planet ever to win an award for this type of movie that she put out, this type of documentary. Because, there's other people who have put that stuff out now since then, but back then nobody acknowledged, first of all, that aliens were real and they were among us. Second of all, testimony by people, any of that. And she won 9 awards over that. So, and then now continuing with this new movie, she's already, would you say up to 5? So
yeah, I think 4 or 5. I can't even remember.
That's
But
just insane, because of the work that you're doing was considered like laughable to the whole world 20 years ago. What? Aliens? No. Moving things with your mind? No. Seeing behind your head? You know what I mean?
yeah.
And now people are waking up enough to be more open-minded enough to say, you know what, that was great work and we need to reward her for that.
Yeah, and don't forget now, for people who don't know, this is the film business. So the festivals, even the smallest ones, where it doesn't have to be like Sundance, and there's tons of them, but there's like they're very like really reputable, festivals, and they receive thousands of submissions of different film. I mean, there are filmmakers all over the world in all types of topics. So the competition is massive. And like, for example, when I submit my documentary, I am up against, not against, but I mean, I'm in the same category as, The Life of Whitney Houston and like all documentaries out there.
Right. Yeah.
And so already to be accepted in a festival is already huge, because they go through thousands of admissions.
Right.
Then to have an award, that's another. I mean, and so
well, just to be nominated in the beginning,
exactly,
and then to actually win one. I remember
exactly.
It wasn't too long after I had interviewed you, we heard you won the award, and I was like, "What? No way!" And so it was just incredible. Right?
Yeah, and so, for example, the UFO Congress, I won both. I won Best Film and the People's Choice Award.
Yes.
But that's kind of like the topic. So, I mean, it's more understandable. But the other festivals are more mainstream.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, like I said, you're up against or with the same category as just any documentary. So for you to get picked in the mainstream festivals, to me is very, very, like, it's incredible, because it means that even with topics like that, they're still recognizing the value.
Right.
But I also have to say that the film is very well done. Like, it has high production value, is very well produced. It's not like a cheap production. So that is also part
I think
of
that's
why
why they took it so serious, because you did such a great job in being like very meticulous and having it be exactly that, really big production.
Yeah.
So that they couldn't deny the production ability and say, well, you were just some guy with a camera running around with, and talking to people, and it didn't work out right. That's for a smaller film festival. This was done in a way. I remember when somebody, I don't know if it was someone who worked for you or just a fan, posted your commercial for it, and you hadn't released it yet, or you're just about to. No, you hadn't. You hadn't even released it. And I saw that and I went, oh my God, I need to talk to her. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen produced this way. And that was just your commercial. And, then I saw the whole thing and went, wow. Right?
Yeah, you're going to love Superhuman. You really need to watch it. Go to Amazon.
And if you guys out there on the planet, if you haven't, you should watch it as well. It's already starting to win awards, guys. So it's going to be bigger than it is now, just as time goes on. So watch it.
Yeah, and if you like it also, of course, to support the work, like write a review, to help others who come on the page to be interested and attracted to the material. But it's doing very well, actually. And so we just want to, spread the word even more. But like I said, this is supporting your work, supporting, validating everything these I'm sure folks who are on this call who have been part of the this conference,
Right.
this is what their interest is about tapping into other realities,
Right.
our superhuman abilities to get beyond, get past the physical world, and especially how the consciousness affects the physical body. So
Well, here's a question from someone in the audience.
yeah.
The question is, how can we practice more to become more? Is it clairsentient?
Yeah.
And all of the clairs. That's the question.
Yeah. So like I said, I started out at a very young age, kind of having all these experiences, and I developed this methodology as how to sense things, how to discern, like you didn't make it up. Like, how do you know if I'm tapping into you right now, I'm trying to help you with something you're struggling with, or just getting guidance on something. Like, how do I know I didn't make it up? And so that sort of discernment, the guidance, becoming more sensitive, all of that, I've developed classes. I mean, people can just go now and download the classes. So, but that's on my consciousness website, which is carolinecory.com. Carolinecory.com. So go there. And also, I have a lot of free stuff. So if people want to just try, start to kind of just feel it out, go to carolinecory.com and then go to the YouTube channel. And on the YouTube channel, I have like 150 or something free guided meditation and classes and lectures that give you all kinds of tools and information about all of this, to how to develop that.
Speaking of that, Johnny J said, my experience with a meditation with Caroline changed the way I look at the world, the way I see the world.
Wow.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right?
It's very, very powerful, Leonard. I mean, seriously, this stuff is very powerful. And
it is affirmation, like you were saying, you're just saying I work with a lot of people who have and develop people's abilities. I help to try and raise their vibration and develop their abilities, because everybody can do it. Like you said earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most important thing is, because everyone doubts, the most important thing is validation.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's why also, the work that I do also is very experiential. It's not like a lecture. It's not like, okay, this is the way you do things and whatever. Because I experienced it myself, and I really took the time to figure out, okay, what did my brain do when I got it right? What did my brain do when I didn't, all of that, very methodical work that I did for 15 years is all in the classes. And so, and in every single meditation. So people can start with the meditation on the YouTube channel if, they don't want to, and then if they want to get more serious, go to the online classes, and then you'll see a list of things that you can study, how to sharpen your guidance system, your sensitivity, all the clairvoyance, all of that stuff. And then when they want to get to another level, like telekinesis, moving objects, seeing with the blindfold, they will see also those classes on this website, but also on the Superhuman Film website, because that's specific to the film as well.
To the same thing. See, so that's really, really good information that she just gave you, and that's all like free information. Go there and take a look at that, but you got to watch that movie as well. I have to watch that movie as well, because I haven't seen that one yet. And
if you watch it, please send me your feedback. We want to hear more. We want your comments. We want to, I want to expand this and create a community of empowered people that, enough of the old paradigm of this isn't real, stop doing this, it's crazy. That's not true. It's like, this is our time.
Yeah.
This is our time just to be out there, to do it, to be it. And these are the tools. So we want to all connect. I already have a huge community of people who do that. And so we want to bring on more people as well. And so we would love to hear any sort of feedback or comment.
Oh, absolutely. And the world does want more. Otherwise, you wouldn't be winning awards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would have set that out there, and they would have went, okay, whatever, yawn. But they didn't, because the planet is really shifted. There's been a really big shift since, I hate to say it, but since 2012, because everybody thought the world was coming to an end, and I think that started to push people to start really looking inward. And now with the coronavirus, like you said before, it's hard to get together, but I think it's really started forcing a lot of people to better themselves, because they have to be with themselves. They can't pretend and run off and do stuff anymore. They have to be with their families. They have to be with their children. And so because of that, it's either making you people or breaking you. And the good thing is, thank the whatever gods you pray to, that it's actually helping more people than it is hurting. Right? Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, this movie is more timely than ever before.
Right.
Because we're all confined in our own space, and we think we're like, we're having to succumb to the madness and the craziness that's out there. I mean, what else do we have other than our own mind to shift when we don't want to shift out of this reality,
right,
and focus on what we can create? So that's the reason why, more than ever before, this is the time to focus on this type of work.
right,
Strengthening your discernment, your concentration, the power of your mind to shift. So when we're doing an object, when we are, doing telekinesis work and training our mind to move an object, it's not about the object. It's not about the piece of paper. That's not
right.
the point.
That's not the point.
Yeah, it's about, if you can do this on a piece of paper, first of all, it validates,
Yep.
that is what is happening, that your mind is capable of doing that. But then you're also training your mind to concentrate, to focus in such a way, and you can use that tool on other things. So now I want to create a relationship. Now I want to create money, abundance, whatever it is. It's
Right.
actually the same principle. Because when we try to do that, and our mind is chaotic and all over the place, and the subconscious mind is, going crazy and saying the wrong thing at the same time, that's the reason why we don't create. So all of this training, the telekinesis training, the blindfold training, is for you to strengthen the power of your mind, period, so that you can apply it to any area of your life.